Welcome to the Soul Star Podcast with your spiritual besties, Alli and Mandy. We're here to make your spiritual journey fun, relatable, and inspiring. So let's raise your vibe and ignite your soul together.
Welcome back to the Soul Star Podcast. Thank you for being with us and Happy New Year. It is 2026. This is our first episode of 2026. We took a great long well-needed break and rest. So thank you for being patient with us. And thank you for having us back.
Yay! I was laughing at the beginning because we're recording on Google Meets instead of Zoom. And it takes 3 bloody clicks to start record. Like I say record, and then it's like, are you sure you want to start recording? And I'm like, yes. And then it's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes again.
And that'll be the same at the end. So when we have like our awkward like silence as we with the buttons,
and we're just like smiling.
Aw.
I know. How was your holidays, Mandela?
It feels like, what'd you call me?
Mandela.
Oh, I haven't heard
called
that
you. I've called you. Oh yeah, I've called you that before.
Yeah.
You just missed it.
No, my holidays were great. It was, I don't know, we've had so much rain here on the West Coast, like on Vancouver Island, so much rain, and it was so gloomy. I really struggled this year with the darkness, but in a different way. I wasn't like depressed. I don't remember if I've talked about this before, or I was talking about this with somebody else off the podcast, but I just feel like the rain and the gloominess and the clouds, like I think we had 40 days in a row where it rained. I heard somebody say, I don't know if that's true, but it feels true because it was very, very dark and very dark. And so I struggled with the darkness, but I wasn't depressed. I was just tired and I really felt like hermiting. So the holidays were just that. Like I felt like we didn't do a lot. They were slow. You know, we had a couple family events, but overall it was very chill and very nice.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard when it's like gloomy out. I never really notice it with myself. However, as you were talking, I was like, oh yeah, I think I was a little bit more like, I'm tired. I'm gonna nap. I don't feel like doing nothing. So I don't even think about that as being like, you're right. It's not depressed, but I don't look at it as like, oh yeah, I guess I was a little more bleh.
Yeah, just slower, more like, I haven't been going to the gym. I feel like this gym thing's a seasonal thing because like I feel so unmotivated to go to and I'm not going to push myself. I'm going to honor and respect the energy that I'm in. And now, I'm still eating whatever, but it's not a big deal. It's just, I'm just noticing this, that I'm feeling the seasons shifting and I feel like I'm embodying those seasons maybe more consciously than I have in the past.
Which is good. Like we should, and to not get down on yourself for being like, no, I don't feel like going. And I'm going to honor that, which we typically are like, I don't feel like going. Oh, but I should.
You feel bad about it.
You feel bad. And then you don't go. And then you do go. And you're like, I fucking hate this. I don't want to be here. And like, it's like, come on. And it was so funny because I went to an acupuncture appointment yesterday because I have a lot of pain in my body right now. And a lot of inflammation, which is I find it's a very seasonal thing too. And I think I've had this my whole life where my knees and, I've always had problems with all of these things. And so it's not age. Okay.
And it's not perimenopause. Okay.
It's not and it's not my weight. Okay, maybe a little bit, but it's not my diet. Okay, yes, it is. But like as I'm there, I was talking. I don't know what we were talking about. Oh yeah, because like the Chinese medicine and like the hot foods versus the cold foods, and I was talking about like, oh, I went into meditation, Mandy.
What?
Yeah, for myself. I'm like, what?
Wait, but just once? I'm not going to take this away from you.
No.
I'm still very proud of you.
It was just once. It was the other night. Actually, it was on the new moon. No intention. I wasn't like, I'm gonna go into meditation because it's a new moon. It was like all of a sudden it just like popped up, and I'm like, I'm in the bath. I'm gonna go for a meditation, and that's where I went. And what was really cool was part of me was like, because I felt like, oh, they took me to my council. So we all have, I know Mandy and I've talked about this before, but you have your spirit guides. Yeah. But then you have the principal's office. So like your council, a council of beings that kind of like oversee you, they're like, they know everything about you. And so they took me there, and it was kind of like, just talking about like next steps in my business and all of that. And then I was like, I am in so much pain. I'm like, take the pain away, and then I can work on the computer and I can work on my phone. But like my hands and my forearms, everything hurts, right? So I was like, take the damn pain away. And so then they were like, they said it's the inflammation, and I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. And then I was like, what do I do? And then they instantly showed me celery juice. And so I was like, celery juice. And I'm like, oh, and it was so weird because I picked up celery that day at the groceries because I was going to make a recipe that created it, but I haven't had celery in my fridge in forever. But I needed it for this recipe. And I remember even thinking, oh, I only need 2 stalks or whatever of it. So I'm like, I'll just get, and then I was like, nah, I'll just get the whole thing, right? I was like, let's get the whole thing. Well, looks like I needed it. And so I was like, celery juice, funny. Okay. I'm like, I'll look that up after. And then like, oh, you know how they go like all over the place. And then I like met my partner, who I'm with right now. I wanted to kind of see the soul level, and it was very galactic and stuff. And was it Artemis? So this word came forward, Artemis. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Is that a place? Is that a species? I don't know. But these are what the great things is that you can go in and you research it after. So afterwards I come out and I'm like, okay, celery juice. Is this anti-inflammatory? And I was like, get the fuck out. And so I was like writing down what I received because I know I'll forget all of it. It was like celery juice. And then I heard turmeric and ginger. And so I was like, okay, whatever. It's a long story coming back to my acupuncturist. So I tell her that, I've got I'm like, oh, so much pain and I feel like so much inflammation. And I said, I did a meditation and I was told celery juice. And I was like, oh, also turmeric and ginger. And then that's when she said, well, turmeric and ginger together, but not the celery juice. You do that separate because celery juice is a cold food and the other two are warm food. And you're going to interact, cross, it's going to balance each other out, and you don't want that. And so then she's kind of talked about the seasons and there's a reason why we don't eat the fresh fruit and stuff the seasons, because our body, we need more of the warm foods this time. So us going out and eating a salad, because I was saying oh man, there's a Greek salad I bloody love. And I've noticed the last couple of times that me and Santwali have had it, we get gassy. Right? It's like it turns into a fart house. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And I'm not there yet to fart in front of him. I totally could, but I'm just not there yet. But then he's farting away. And then I'm just like, well, that's just ruined the night, because nobody wants to get sexy when you're So I was like, so I thought, I'm gonna ask her. I'm like, so is that I love this type of salad. Does it give you gas? And she explained, and she goes, yeah, and we're not meant to in this season eat stuff from the ground like that. They want the soup, they want and if you are gonna eat it with a hot cup of tea to help the body.
Yeah.
And she's like, because there's cold. Like what happens is like we get dampness, cold trapped into the body, which makes sense, right? You know how we've talked about where you get the chill and you can't get it out.
Yeah.
And so she's like, at this time of the year, we get that coldness trapped into the body. And then when we add in more cold, it's just exasperating it and creating more pain and aching and all of that. And I was like, that fucking makes sense.
That's very, very cool. And I can feel that because I literally do not feel like I want to eat salad at this when it's dark and cold out. I'm wanting to drink bone broth. I want tea.
Yeah.
I want soup or stew or like pasta.
Yes.
Something
yes.
And like very comfort foodie, like mac and cheese. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. And that's what she was kind of like saying, because it also like it speeds up our metabolism. Like it moves things, because if we've got the cold trapped in the body, it kind of slows things down. And that's where they're wanting the heat to like get things, revving and moving. And I was like, oh, that totally makes sense. Where in the summer, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Right. And you do want watermelon or salad because it's like the water, like that kind of hydration.
Yeah.
I know.
I love it.
I know.
It's also connected.
It is. So that's why I was like, all right. I'm like, okay, like we're gonna listen to the seasons more.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in meditation over the holidays, and you know how I've been struggling a little bit with like, why don't I like what's next? Like, why do I feel called, like not called to do anything with regard to like our gifts and stuff? Like I still feel confused about it. And I still have no desire, like no spark of enthusiasm at this point. That I'm sure that will change, but I'm still curious. So I was connecting the other night as well. And I was like, I was like, why did you guys shut it down? Like,
what the fuck, spirit?
What is the purpose? And I know there's other purposes, but what they were showing me, there's so much energy coming on the planet right now, that like they literally gave me a vision of me like not channeling, but like receiving the energy and anchoring it into the ground for not just myself, but for my family and for those really close to me. Like that is my job right now. I don't have any other job. That is my job. I'm anchoring these energies for those that I love, like those in my little sphere here. And that's for now. That's for now. I was like, okay, I can get with that. Like, I'm okay with that. I know
I can handle that. Well, yeah. And that's funny because it's funny when I was just telling you about a podcast I was listening to. I never listened to podcast episodes, and I did. Look at me. Growth in 2026. I was actually listening to it today driving home and stuff. So now maybe I'm going to be a podcast listener. I'm a podcast producer, but I'm creator.
All the above.
But I don't listen to them. But that was actually something that was like brought up in this episode. And it was, about this kind of like part where you're like, okay, wait a minute. Like, I know this is coming to an end, but I don't know where I'm going with it. And you're in that in between, which we've talked about the in between so many times, but hearing it in this instance, and that reminded me of you, that because it was kind of like, like I had like, this was my focus, this was everything I wanted, and I just couldn't believe like I was going to be like leaving that, but I just knew that was closing off, but then the other thing hadn't appeared yet, and this girl was in this cycle of like trying to find it, and was like going to readings and being like, what is it? And like nothing was coming, and it was like, what the fuck? And then she realized like part of it was spirit was like, oh yeah, because she was so much in this energy, and she had booked a reading and it got canceled, and then she booked it with the next psychic that she was, you kind of have your like Rolodex of like who you're gonna call. 3 of them she had booked, all 3 of them had ended up canceling. And so she was like, okay. Like it was a sign to be like, shut up.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Calm it down.
Pause yourself. It will come. And she now, in retrospect, she realized, obviously she was like, oh. Oh, so you're kind of like there where it's just kind of like there is a plan. You're just not supposed to know it yet.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like maybe I'm not meant to do anything until like we get into New Earth, and then that's where my purpose starts. Do you know what I mean? Like who knows?
All speculation, and that's the thing where it's kind of like,
yeah, and I'm being veiled from it on purpose, because you're right.
Absolutely.
If I knew what I was going to become or what I was moving into, I might not try as hard to get or to become that person.
Absolutely. And you think like, because there's lessons in that are taught prior to knowing, and you would lose all of those lessons. And I always kind of look at it too. It's like, okay, you've got so many things you need to check off before that's revealed, because if you reveal it, you're not going to do the stuff that needs to be checked off. Right.
Yeah. And it can be so frustrating when you're intuitive at this point, because like there's been quite a few instances where I've been able to tap into something that was coming, but not knowing when it was going to come or how it would come. And so the frustration of waiting for it to arrive.
You're so good at that. You're so good at waiting.
That's like the lesson I think that I'm learning. No, I feel like this time around I'm much better than I have been in the last couple times, because I'm like, okay, like I only check in once in a while to see what the deal is. And I'm just sort of patiently waiting for, because I know it'll come as creativity. Like an idea will spark, and then I'll feel excited about it. And then it'll start to, all the downloads will come in, and it'll start to like write it out. And that's how it will arrive. That's how I'm expecting it to arrive.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel because at the same time, I feel it, right? Like I feel like for me, there's shifts that need to change with my purpose and how I show up, and then but when it feels like a little foggy, and you're kind of like, you get these little glimpses of something, and you're like, and then you're just like, it's not enough of a glimpse for me to like put my claws into and do it. And so you're just like, what the fuck? And then when it was like seeing my counsel, and they're like, okay, it's time. There's no more thinking. There's this doing. And I'm like, then fucking cure my arms, because
I need my arms, okay?
My arms to be able to do anything. So like, fucking let that go, man. I'm like, I'm here. I'll do it. But give me some peace. Give me some relief. Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah. Let's talk about 2026. So we're just here to gab.
We're here to gab.
But we're going to talk a little bit about 2026 and kind of what to expect as a collective energy. You started off, Allison. Hold on to your hats, people.
Oh my goodness. It's just like every year. Like, what the hell, man? It's like, when do we get a break? But it's tough. But it's all purposeful, right? Like, I think that's where it's definitely tough. Like, haven't you found though, like since 2020, like I feel like
I feel like we've been in the salad spinner.
Oh, we have. And every year you're like, it's gotta be better.
Yeah, I think this year, honestly, I feel like this year is going to be better only because people have their eyes open now.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is the perspective. And it's like, what kind of better? Is it going to be the same as pre 2020? No. And so maybe it will never be. But I think that maybe there's part of us that are like, that's what we are holding on to. So then every year that it's like still a lot going on, it's like, it feels like, where was that calmness? But that too many people have, woken up or become aware of things going around, and like you said, you can't unsee, you can't undo that. So yeah, it may feel like chaos because we're seeing it all now. But again, it's all for the betterment. Like, what was it? I was talking with my sister and my mom, and just talking about, yeah, like just the polarity and the state of the world. And it's just like, oh my God, another one. And it was funny because my sister, it's like she kind of got it. It's like she started to kind of see it. And I just kind of explained, I'm like, guys, like all of this was happening. It was all happening. We just didn't know about it. Right? I'm like, all of this corruption, all of this shittiness that we're like seeing, and we're like, what the hell? We're like child sex trafficking, all these things, right? It's all coming out, and it's like, what kind of world do we live in? Like, it's just gone to the shitter and all these things. And it's like, no, it's always been there. It was hidden really well. And now it's coming to the surface. And so I was like, which is a good thing, because we can't change what we don't know. We can't change what we can't see. So bring it to the surface. Yeah, it's going to be dense and it's going to be ugly, but now we can start to like dismantle it. Right?
Yeah. It reminds me of this. So when I was in Mexico, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but
well, Spirit put it in your head for a reason.
Okay. So when I was in Mexico, there was one morning, like I was there just at the end of like the tropical storm season. And so there was like a storm that hit on the ocean where we were. And so the next morning I went for a walk on the beach, and there was all of this trash all over this beautiful beach. And it wasn't there the day before. Like, it's not like they have trashy beaches at the resort, but there was all this garbage.
Trashy beaches at the resort. We just go swimming amongst the garbage.
And so what happened was like, I was like, oh, the ocean is like, here, take your shit back, and like purging itself onto the beach and say, here's your garbage, humans, deal with it. And it was
then
like,
they do deal with it because they come out early in the morning to take it all away, the workers, right?
Yeah. So they had cleaned up the beach by the afternoon or by the mid-morning. So this kind of energy reminds me like the collective is just like purging all of this shit. It's just coming to the surface. And it's like, here, people, like, this is what we're dealing with. How are we going to clean this up? So now what we're doing is it's almost like we're pivoting. So we've seen the mess on the beach, and now we're pivoting. Now we all get to decide, how are we going to clean this mess up? How do we want to move forward? How are we going to solve this problem and this issue? And are we okay with the people in charge? Because the answer is no. They're doing a shitty job. They're the reason why all this garbage is on the beach. Do you know what I mean?
We've hired them, and they are failing, right? Like, you need to be written up. They're the ones that were
putting the garbage in the ocean to begin with.
Yeah, they need to be written up
and we all have
and
to
put on probation.
Yeah.
You're going on probation.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when you said that, I don't know why I thought of a pimply face.
Ew. You do. I don't want to hear this metaphor.
Yeah. Well, it just made me think, like, like somebody that's like goes through a cleanse, and so you're like, oh my God, I'm cleansing my body and and then all of a sudden their face like breaks out, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is terrible. And it's like, because the body's like, yeah, we're needing to purge out the toxins. It needs to come out in a certain way. And that's like exactly that, right? It's like, okay, we brought it to the surface now.
Yeah.
Deal with it. I love that. I
don't
love the pimply face, but I love that analogy. Your analogy.
I feel like this is the year where we've all decided we've had enough. And how are we gonna create change, and what kind of change do we want to see? So I think this is the year where the changes of the systems really start to shift, because for many years now we've seen the cracks in the foundation, and we've been told, these systems are gonna crumble. So the financial system, the government system, the education system, all tied together. They've got to crumble so that they can be rebuilt in a new way that works for everybody. And so I feel like this is the year where they truly crumble. And this is where we get to decide how we want to move forward.
Now, do you think it's actually going to fully crumble, or because part of me feels like the crumble is going, a few years. So it feels like it's like the shift. It's like all the shit came up, and now we're on the top of the peak, and we're going down the other way. And now it's like as many years as it took to bring the shit to the top, it's going to take as many, like kind of like that in that aspect, it's going to take that long. So it's not going to be like, oh my God, like all of a sudden there's no banks by the end of this year. No, but it's like now we're going to start to actually see the shifts.
I think I feel like the 2020s.
Yes.
The 2020s is the year of the shift, like the pivot, the 10-year pivot, I feel like. And then by 2030, I feels like calmer waters.
Well, and that kind of makes sense when you think of like the 2020s, like 2025, it kind of brought us here, right? That's halfway through. And now we're going to start on the other end of like, okay, so let's start like redoing things. And
I think we're going to see a lot of solutions in the next 5 years, and solutions coming from AI and technology, like newer technologies, and all of these things. I think we're going to see solutions coming from these new resources, these new like I even feel like the old, like relying on gas, and like I feel like the oil industry is even gonna shift. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be newer renewable energies that we can use to heat our homes and stuff like that. I feel like us relying so much on like the food chain, or the, you know, like the grocery stores and all of that sort of stuff is going to shift. And I don't know about you, but I feel called again to start a garden, because I just feel mad that that I'm dependent on what the grocery store has available. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the cost of that, like like we are literally tied.
Just grow it myself.
The handcuffs, the golden handcuffs, right? Like we're just like stuck on whatever it is.
I know. And so I'm going to share this idea with everybody in hopes that you take this idea and run with it, because I want to do this locally with some friends. But I would really love to collect a handful of people that want to be responsible for growing like one vegetable over the summer. So for example, I'll do tomatoes because they're so easy. and then when canning
I don't want your tomatoes.
But listen, then I'm going to make salsa, and I'm going to make tomato sauce for pasta, and I'm going to can everything you can with tomatoes, and that's my responsibility. And then somebody else's responsibility is to can like cucumbers for pickles, and then somebody else's responsibility is to can applesauce, and somebody else's to can blackberry jam. And then we all get together, and then we trade canned goods with each other, because I have a bulk of tomato sauce, and I'm going to trade to my, like, you know what I mean? It's like an open, like trading store.
Market.
Like a little market where it doesn't cost anything except for your time and energy to can the goods that you just canned. But then you can go and stock up your pantry for the winter based on everybody else's canning too. Do you know what I mean?
It's not overwhelming by having to do all of it yourself. Yeah. And Mandy's not going to include me in this group thing with her friends, because we're not friends in real life. I'm just kidding.
You hate dirt. You hate gardening.
I know, but you're not going to include me because I don't do gardening. And you're like, I don't think you would want to. I don't think you would want anything that I made anyways.
But part of the idea is that we learn too. Do you know? I don't know. Do you want to do it? You can grow tomatoes on your patio. Or make your mom do it.
I will make my mom do it. She does it all the time. Actually, I was just thinking that. So you read my mind. Because I was like, in my head, I was like, well, I could just make my mom do it. And she would do all the canning and then give it to me to be part of the cool group.
The canning trading, whatever.
Yeah.
That's my idea, because I feel like it would be fun. We would all learn how to grow and can, and then we would no longer be relying on the grocery store for some of our goods, right? So like, I don't know how many times I go to the grocery store for pasta sauce, for jam, like every other week, feels like.
Oh my God. And it's expensive, man.
Yeah.
Jam is expensive. I'm like, holy shit. I love the jam my mom used to make. That real sugary one. It would like crunch in your teeth. It was that sugary.
Oh,
loved it.
Maybe she can share that recipe with us. But there's
I would just eat spoonfuls of it as a kid.
I bet you did. I would have done that too.
You know what jam I'm talking about, right? Like it's that little mix thing that I can just
Like
see
the
it. It's like
marmalade?
red.
Oh, it's
No, so like strawberries.
strawberry jam.
Strawberry jam, but you get that like mix.
It's like the pectin. Is it called?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And you like sugar. Like you'd be putting it into this pot and it was so much sugar. And I loved it. I would love that right now. Yeah, no, I like that idea. In theory, yeah, I like that idea. I will be part of it. What if I make something not food? Because I'm very creative and I love making things.
Yeah, that would be good. Like if you did like room cleansers or
or like what am I thinking? Oh, like I make the toner for my skin. I make the oil for my skin. I could do all those. I love that shit.
I love it too.
I gotta find my passion, and now I can be part of the club. It's just a different type.
Okay, no, I like it because everybody needs skin toner and moisturizer for the winter because it'll get dry.
It's dry as fuck. So I'm like, yeah, okay, thank you. We just have to like go after our strengths.
I'm gonna put something together. So all my local people, reach out to me if you're interested.
Okay, I'm part of the
game. Okay, Allie's in.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh God. Okay, so carry on. Year. Okay, so we're talking about a bit of the crumble. It's funny because I'm like, I came across, well, it's Elizabeth April. We've talked about her many times. She is she's Canadian. What?
A remote viewer.
A remote viewer, yeah. She's a remote viewer. She's a psychic. She's all about the aliens, all stuff. Love her. And she had remote viewed and looked into like Trump, like she's done this many times, right? And it's such like a trigger word, such a trigger word. And with everything, Trump is a trigger word for a lot of people. It's very polarizing.
Oh yeah.
But
for good cause.
And like whatever. Like I literally have like when she kind of even says that she's like she doesn't like she has no kind of personal and that's kind of like how I feel like, and then I even feel like people are like, what? You don't have a personal say and stake in it, and to me, I'm just kind of like, this is just it's a player, it's a thing happening, it's playing out the way it needs to play out. I literally have no say on anything. I don't even live in the same country as the president, so like whatever. But what I really thought was interesting was her take on it. And she was like, she's like, Trump isn't here. He's not here on this white horse saving us, right? He's not this like, savior, blah, blah, blah. Because I've heard that in the spiritual community where he's like a white hat. He's here to blah, blah, blah. And I remember thinking like, okay, but why do you got to be so?
There's like pause there. You're like,
like it would make me like, I was like, okay, I know everything happens for a reason. I know the crumble, like things have to get messy before they get better. But I remember kind of like questioning, being like, but do you have to say some of those things? Because that doesn't really align. I'm like, I had a hard time with that. But what she'd said was like, no, he's not here to save us, but he is here to create the crumble. He is here to be polarizing, to bring this shit, to bring this, like the purge to the top and to create chaos, I guess, amongst there's a purpose.
He is the trigger that will cause the crumble, in my humble. He's the trigger, the button pusher.
Yes, the button pusher. To create all of this, to get it's people riled up to ask the questions, to push,
you can't create this type of chaos or this force of change that's coming. You cannot create that by being a Zen person
and having everybody like you. No. Like and the thing is like, and even in the sense of like, for something to crumble, Like for something to change, it needs to crumble, right? Like we talk about, you have to be uncomfortable. We're not going to change something that we're comfy, cozy with. We're going to change something when we see the cracks, and then it crumbles, and then we rebuild it. And so in that sense, at the same time, if he was all like Zen and la 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 la, like no, there would be no polarized, there'd be nothing like spurring out of it. And so it was like, yeah, like that is his purpose. But his purpose is not to be the savior. His purpose is to literally be the chaos.
Yeah.
And then I'll let the savior come in. Like
somebody
savior,
else,
whatever savior. I don't like that, because nobody's
somebody will be the cleaner upper.
Yeah, the cleaner upper, the one that's like now doing it the new way and all that stuff. And that one resonated with me.
Yeah. I even think like the next person will be the cleaner upper, as in like starting to create the foundation of a new way. And then the person after that will take what they've created and run with it. And that's where we would see a real uptick in a new way of being, or a new way of living, or a new way of whatever it's gonna be. But I feel like it's all going to be a domino effect in a sense. And I also, like you said earlier, it doesn't feel like it's going to be one huge immediate crumble. It's going to be a slow progress over the course of a few years. But at the same time, we are going to see bits and pieces of new ways, new ideas, new technologies to allow us to help us unhook from old systems. And that's going to help us move forward.
Yeah, I see it was like, because I think for the longest time, when we heard like, oh, the financial system's crumbling and all these things, and I think we work in the financial industry, but we've been hearing this for a few years now, and
6 years.
Yeah, and we become very literal when we think of it, like, oh my God, shit's gonna hit the fan, and then you get to the end of the year, you're like, oh, it's still running. However, if you actually look back from like today back to 2020, there has been huge shifts, right? It's so that if you actually took that collectively, you can see some of these crumblings. It's just, and so this is where I think sometimes we can, like, some of these messages will come through and we take it so literally, and then we're like, well, it didn't happen. But then it's like, no, it is happening. They're just, they're softening it. They're kind of like stretching it out. So it's not so jaunting. What?
Jarring.
There you go. That's what we're trying to say.
No, you're trying
that's what I was trying to say. No, we're trying to say it's H in my head, and I'm like, that's what you're trying to get me to say. He also like they were H was showing me an image of like, and I'm trying to think of a scenario where this would happen. But like when you're like, if somebody's like trying to say you're very docile, or you're just kind of, and somebody's trying to be like, I need you to step up. Like, where's your voice? And like, I guess I could see it as like a military camp thing. I don't know. But, you've seen it in movies and stuff where they're like, they poke you and they poke you and they poke you because they're trying to get you to stand up for yourself. And then you all of a sudden finally go, fuck, like, what are you talking about? And you just like, you got pushed way too far, and you start to like stand up for yourself. That's what Trump feels like. It feels like he's this poke. And he's like, guys, collective people, citizens, like, you need to stand up for what you believe in. We need you to stand up and be like, no, that's enough, because we've been so docile and just kind of following along. And so in that sense, not just Trump, but like all these things, but that's what it kind of feels like. It feels like they're trying to like shake us, wake us up, to find our voices, to finally step back and say, no, this is not happening anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Well, that's why we're here. All of us are here for it. Like, literally, this is why we all incarnated at this time, so that we could be a part of this great shift, because this is part of the ascension and moving from 3D to 5D. Like, we're all going through not only witnessing this crumbling of all these old ways, we're also ascending vibrationally as beings at the same time. So, and that's why you're interested in this sort of stuff, and in our podcast, work that we do, and perhaps even learning how to do this work for yourself, or starting your healing journey and just opening up your awareness. It's because you're always meant to do that, because this is what you signed up for. This is why you're here. So like, how are we gonna, and this is kind of where I get stuck, like how am I going to help support the shift in consciousness if I'm not actively like doing it? You know what I mean? But I'm doing things at a soul level, from what I understand, and on a different energy, I guess, at this point. But to me, sometimes I feel guilty, because I'm like, I have these gifts and this, I can help people. Why aren't I helping people? Why don't I feel called to help people through this shift in consciousness at like a human level? That's
yeah.
But this is, again, why we're all here to witness this and to help this shift
in different ways. And I think it's like a big part of that is not forcing it and trusting, because that's the way we're moving towards, right? Is not that forcing it because you have to. I've got these gifts, so I should do it. I have money, so I should give it all away to help. It's the same concept, right? I, me and my family, when I was going through my own divorce, but then there was a lot happening with the family. It was like, but I can handle it, but doesn't mean you should, right? So it was like, there's kind of that lesson in that,
that
to
balancing.
be like, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, because also I guess there's a lesson there also in like the people pleaser and overextending yourself, because if you overextend yourself, then you're not at the capacity to be able to do the job you're supposed to be doing, whatever that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or what the pause is to create that reserve for what your next thing is going in. Sometimes it's like this pause is purposeful, so that you're collecting that energy, you're collecting that wisdom, you're collecting those thoughts, so that when it is time to like, okay, now you're on board, you are fully able to do it. But if you showed up and you're depleted, right? So again, like there's a lot of times, like we've said, it like, if it may not make sense, but it's having that trust and faith that, our guides, our higher self, they know what's happening. They see the whole story. But we don't, and that's fine. Right. But it's so fucking frustrating, man. I get, I can sit here and say that, and I'm like, yeah, because like, blah, blah. And then the next day I'll be like, what the fuck? I'm like, why can't I figure this out? What's wrong with you?
Oh my goodness.
But that's the thing. I was reading something, and it's like, we're not, like, even just being the knowledge that you and I have, the abilities that we can do, all of these things, we're not meant to escape that stuff.
Yeah.
We're not meant to escape hard times or negative thought spirals and stuff. But what it does help us is it helps us not stay stuck in it.
Yes.
Right? That's the biggest difference. We're going to experience it, but we're not going to necessarily get stuck in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like all over the place, but
this is the beauty of our Gabby chat.
I know. I love our Gabby chats, but I just remembered something from my meditation.
Oh, so going back to the meditation?
Yeah. I had a discovery.
Oh.
It was super fucking cool.
With your
what?
Did you discover it like your counsel showed you, or else like?
Well, I went to my Akashic records. So obviously I was with the council, and then I wanted to go to my Akashic records because I wanted to go see. I was like, show me a past life that I need to, like, because I just don't go in and do that, right? For myself.
Like, let's do it all.
My bath water was so cold by the time I got out. I sat there for that long. I'm like, so yeah, so it's like all of a sudden I was like, show me a past life. Well, they didn't show me a past life. But this was so cool. They didn't show me a past life, but they showed me where my past lives were. Okay, so super weird. So I was all of a sudden I found myself standing on this like sand dune, this like cliff. It reminded me of that movie with Timothy Chalamet.
Dune?
Dune. Yeah. Dune. Dune. Because I was like, when I was like, where the fuck am I? And then I was like, and then they showed me Dune, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm standing there, and then all of a sudden, this like huge wave of water just comes in. So it was like, oh, this is what it's like. I was standing on like a sandy top without the water, but this was it was underwater. So they like took me, and it like took me deep into the deep sea. And so I was like, where the fuck? And I'm like, am I going to Lemuria or something like that? And it was just like, they wouldn't answer me, but it looked like it felt like it, but it wasn't that. And so I'm like, I'm in here, I'm in this space, and it kind of felt like I was in this like Lemuria looking place. And all of a sudden I walk up, and it's like a cave, but it reminded me of like if you took coral and you blew it up, you'd have all of these like crevices, like these little like crevices, bubble areas, right? And so I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Or I guess if you shrunk me into like a mini thing, that's what it would look like, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like walking through, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I'm like, where the hell am I going? And then I like walk into this bigger open space. And all of a sudden I see like what look like ribbons, different colors of ribbons, or seaweed, right? You know, if you see seaweed and it's just kind of like riveting like that.
But like different colors of seaweed?
Yeah. So, and there was clusters. So it was like a little cluster. And then it had all these different color, like to me looked like seaweed, but it was, you know, ribbons, whatever it was. And it was all over the place. And I was like, what the heck is this? And they were like, these are your lives. And these are your lives in action right now. And I was like, I know. And I was like, what? And then I was like, because you know how we say like it's your all your lives are your future, your past, everything's happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And so then I'm like, well, like what are all these like the bundles had all of these things, and they're like, those are the timelines, those are your choices in that lifetime. And I was like, oh wow. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, can I see mine? Like where's my little bundle of stuff?
You're one like in this life? Yeah.
And so I went, and it was funny because it was like I saw them as like this whole room was filled with it, and then some were lower down, some were here, some were higher up. So like I had to go higher to get to some, and in a way, I guess it was floating in water. I kind of look at it like that because you'd have to like swim up to go get one, but there was a meaning to that because it was like the lower ones were kind of lower density lifetimes, and the higher it went, the higher dimension or frequency those lives were in. And so I went to mine, and I was like, oh wow. And then all of a sudden one of them just turned gold, and the other ones just disintegrated away, and they're like, this is the timeline we're asking you to step onto. And I was like, what? And then they're like, I'm like, oh, it's like the yellow brick road. And then I was like, oh, and it totally brought it back to Alice in Wonderland or whatever it was.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Is it okay? Is it Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz.
I don't even know.
Okay, but still.
Because I was just like, oh my God. I was just like this path, and I was just like, oh my God. And so it was just like they're just saying like this is your most highest aligned path, like this is where we want you to go, and like let the other ones disintegrate, let the other timelines disintegrate, and step onto this path. And that was like that was it. They just wanted to show me kind of like how that all worked. And then all of a sudden I just found myself back into my Akashic Records room, and I was just like,
I love that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. No, I love that. I love how sometimes they'll just show things to us in a way like that just makes sense for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was I was in my Akashic Records room once, not too long ago, and I was like, I wonder if I can take a look at my book of my life now and see, like, I wonder if you know what I mean? So I wonder if I can pull that book and review that
this lifetime's book, just like my little bundle of seaweed.
So, and I did, and they took me to a spot in my Akashic records, and it was like a book, but it was like being written as I was looking at it. So I could see where I could sense that the words were being written within the book, like in real time, and that there was still a lot of
Mandy's in her Akashic records right now, looking at this book.
She is looking at me. What do I do? So there was like a lot of pages written, and then a lot of pages that still needed to be written. But I was like I was like in the moment. It was almost like being present in that moment, in a sense, or a reminder to be present in the moment. But I found it really interesting that they showed it to me that way.
Yeah, which is crazy. I'm like, which is so, and it's true, because we're like, it's just like we're writing our destiny as we move, right? Like we're writing our own destiny.
Yeah, and we have full control of how we want our reality to play out.
Absolutely. And so, and even though there's multiple timelines and all that stuff, it's all our choice. That's why there is multiple timelines, so that
it's all created based on the choices that we're making, even the little ones in our daily life.
Well, and it even feels like when I go back to that, because I was like, there was like these big kind of like ribbon ones. And as you were talking, I was like, but like, can you, like, what if you make a choice that's like not part of those ribbons? And they're like, then another one's created. So it's kind of like there's no bumper pads in the sense of like, okay, well, you can make so many choices and you only go this far, and we'll keep you on this, like, we'll keep you contained. It's like, no, you can go like completely off, and they will create a new ribbon and be like, okay, here we go. Like,
could you imagine being your spirit guide and you're just like along for the ride, and you're like, here we go, off this way again.
Let's do this.
You sure you want to go down this path? Are you sure?
Are you sure about that? I know. I'm like, oh, it's just so crazy. I'm like, yeah. And it was so funny because I remembered when I was thinking of this coral reef. What? It's the same thing.
I think
coral reef is the same. When I was like walking through this, it reminded me of the music hall in my high school. So like we had this like very weird fucking music hall where it was so weird. Like it was really weird. It was like you walked in and it had all these little pockets of rooms for people to go in with the piano. So a singer, pianist, whatever could go in. And the hallway was very like the walls were super rugged, like coral or reef, and the halls kind of like moved in this way. And so they instantly brought me back, because I was like, oh yeah, that looks like in high school. And we had like that weird area. It wasn't like anything else in the school. And I'm like, this reminds me of it. And I've been getting pulled more towards the music side of things, and how it's a universal language, right? Music is a universal language. Like it is something that is seen and felt on the other side, in every dimension. We've gone through healings and been like, oh, tonal things that come through. Even on this earth, like, there's this guy, I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, where he plays the guitar and starts to sing for animals. Different and like their reactions, these natural reactions of these crazy ass animals, and they're all drawn to it. And that just shows you there's a universal language of music, of frequency, of tone. And so it just kind of, to me, it was very interesting that I was brought back to where I went to school specifically for singing. And it just feels like it's kind of all wrapping in that aspect. I know.
Ooh, is this gonna show up more for you in 2026, do you think?
Yeah, I do. I feel like something to do with my music and singing. I feel this urge to share it on my socials for the Luminant Soul.
Yeah.
I don't know how that will look. I feel like I can think too much, and this is where I feel like I'm getting this push that I can sit there and be like, I feel the call. I feel like I need to share it. I feel like there's something like that's something I think in this past year I've learned and recognized was, singing, it's not about me. So like in this instance, like I know I've been somebody that I gatekeep it because I don't want it to come across as like I'm showing off or like it's the whole showing off thing or being seen or being too much or whatever. And I felt that in high school, like, people would be like, "Oh, sing for me." And I'd be like, "No.
Sing for me, monkey, sing."
But I always, in my head, I took that as like, if I just was like, sure, it would be like a show off, right? And
I think that's a story that you've been telling yourself for a really long time. That's not. I think you need to reframe that story because you're right. It's not about you. It's about the people that need to hear it to help their healing or to maybe crack something open within them. Right?
That's exactly it. So like, like last year when I sang at my parents' church for Christmas, and I remember being like, "Oh, I don't want to do this," and I was just kind of like, oh, I haven't like performed in a long time, and I'm nervous, and all these things, but I was like, my parents are getting older, I'm going to do it, and I did it, and it was afterwards in that moment. It wasn't about people coming up and me getting the praise. Like it wasn't like I was like, oh, that feels so good. I like that. It was like this realization because people were coming up and then they would say, "Oh, you made me cry." And I'd be like, "Oh," and when I would hear that over and over, and then I remember this young gentleman, like in his 20s, he like made a point to make his way through and come up, and he was like, "I just have to say, like, that was so beautiful. Like, you really made me emotional." And I remember that hit me because it was so odd to have like, basically like a young man, like he's a hockey player, like, he's not really the type that usually comes in as like, wow. And it just like, it hit me in that moment where I was like, this isn't about me. This was about sharing this for these people to hear it and feel whatever they needed to feel. And when I sang at my corporate job, when I sang at the gala, and like, it was 750 people, like, holy shit, man. And again, it was like the realization afterwards, it wasn't the praise, it was the fact of like, it shocked me of how much it touched people.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm starting to realize, like, I'm gatekeeping this, but this heals. It really does. And it's this universal language. And I know for me, when I hear a song that I'm touched to, I feel it viscerally. But there's also people that when they hear somebody sing, whether it's live, whatever it is, like it's amazing how much it can affect them. And I think that was a big realization for me that I didn't realize before. And so that's where this kind of music, I feel it. I feel this push, and it's me getting out of my own way of like having that thing to be like, there has to be a purpose. You don't just sing anything. You're just gonna come out and sing anything. Like, it's got to be soul related, right? And this is where I get in my head, because I'm like, if you just come out and sing anything, then you're just being a show off. All of this fucking stuff, right? So this is what stops me. So I
have an idea for you, a direction you can go. But do you want me I can share it off. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she'll share it off. It's a secret. Everybody, you're not going to be a part of it. You don't get to know. FOMO.
Sorry, you get to experience it on the other side.
Yay! Mandy's my pusher. Mandy she's been my pusher. She pushes me off the edge all the time. She's crazy.
I'm coming, Alli.
You make me uncomfortable. You push me off of my uncomfy zone. I love it.
Me too.
Okay. So we were gonna like talk about like the themes for 2026, and I feel like we obviously got off kilter. Do you want to talk about like what you've kind of heard and Mandy's great at listening to podcasts, to YouTube. Like, you're so good and diligent on doing all those things. So please tell us what others are saying is coming for us.
What's coming for us? Well,
Yeah.
I think we touched on a lot of it already, where it just feels like this year, it just feels like the year where we really see the system start to crumble. But also, like, it's not going to happen in a year. I don't think it's going to happen over the course of the next few years, but also at the same time, we're going to see like a lot of new technology is going to come forward, a lot of new healing modalities, a lot of new like science and research and things available to us, like, renewable sources, what am I trying to say? Like the cures for certain diseases, like a lot of health related things, it feels like this is the year where things start to change for the better.
So we start to kind of maybe see that bridge.
Yeah.
Like the bridge of the old and the bridge of the new kind of like coming in and meshing together. Like, we had somebody on the podcast that was a medical intuitive. And in the States, they have that where you could go and see a medical intuitive. So it's kind of like that, where it's like these new age things are coming in, and it's kind of taking it over.
And I think it's going to overlap. Like, I think as we need to see the new things in order to release the old things. Like, we need to be able to unhook from the old ways and be able to trust the new ways, but the new ways have to show themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like we're going to start to see that this year a lot more than we have. But I also feel like this is going to be a year of, and I don't want to scare anybody, but the word is death, like a lot of death, but doesn't necessarily mean physical death. It could mean death as in death of identity, death of like your direction that you've been going in. You know what I mean?
Death of a career, death of a relationship.
So, or it could mean people are passing away. So getting really comfortable with your idea of what death is. And I think we're going to do a series on this in coming up, but because we want to take the mystery away from death. Like, it isn't scary. Well, it is scary for some people, but it doesn't have to be as scary as some people hold it that way, because death is really just an ending and a new beginning. And the people think that when we die, our life ends, but really, well, if you think about it, our life ends when we're born, because we're really just going home after we die. Do you know what I mean? Like, our soul gets to go back.
True.
So it's like when we're when we're having this human experience, it's like our soul is having an experience it's for a certain period of time that's meant to end. So we're just going home afterwards. So anyways,
and it's exciting, right? It's exciting. And like, even when you said like we're gonna have a series, I kind of like lit up like yeah, about death. And then it's like, it's such a faux pas, like don't talk about that. Well, but yeah, no, I think it's like it, because you're right. There is a lot of fear, rightfully so, because it's the fear of unknown. And nobody's been really, unless you've had the near-death experience, nobody's really gone and died and then come back and be like, guys, it's so much fun. Like, oh my God. So it's the fear of the unknown. But I'm like, yeah, I definitely, I know you and I, both of us, like I was very anxious and, all of these things, and very scared to death and all of that. And it completely shifted after I understood it more. And now I'm just like, oh man, like if it's my time, like I'm let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Well, like, part of me is like, okay, well, if I die, let's say this year, then obviously my purpose is to help the collective on the other side, from just not on the earth plane side. So either way, I get to help this shift in consciousness, whether I'm in a physical human form or not. But also I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of excited to come back into a new incarnation to try this again. But this time I'm going to do it more aware, less human amnesia.
You can try.
No, I will.
I think that we say that every time. You're like, next time I am setting myself up so I have all of these things, and then you land in the body and you're like, go, and you come back and you do your life review and you're like, damn it, okay, I'm going to go next time. Next time, I swear. And I'm going to set this,
Right.
and then it's like, then you snap right back again.
Yeah.
It's like Groundhog Day. And then you snap back and you're like, damn it.
I'll get it this time.
I'll get it this time. I'll do it.
I also heard, I just want to say this and then we'll move on from the death thing, but I also heard that monks have a conscious sense of death. So they have more of a conscious awareness of what death truly means to them personally. And then they have a relationship, more of like an intentional relationship with the idea of their own death. So when they die, it doesn't, it's not as scary or as traumatic, or it's maybe more peaceful when they pass over. Do you know what I mean? So
I love that. And I remember when you and I were talking about, because when you brought up that you'd heard, that there might be a lot of death. And it was like, but the way you had worded it in a sense, or, what had heard it being relayed was very much like anybody who passes. So let's just say, obviously 2020, there's a lot of souls that passed over. And the thing is, though, it's purposeful. Their souls chose that. They were like, okay, cool. Yeah. I'm going to come here. I'm going to go up to this point, and then I'll be part of I'll be part of that group that heads on back home. I've heard that there's a lot of souls that will get to this point and be like, yeah, I'm cool. I've learned what I need to learn. I don't want to be a part of, the rest of it. That's just not what I kind of signed up. I was here to push it to this, but that's all I need to learn. So I'm going to pick rocks and head on out. Right. And in that aspect, when you see it, because I can feel that and see that, I know you can feel that and see that from the other side's perspective. It's kind of like, oh yeah, no, it totally makes sense. Right. Totally makes sense. They already chose that. They said, I'm only going to this. It's like you and I going, I'm only going to 2020 and fuck the rest of this shit. I do not want to be a part of this. Yeah. So in a way, it was kind of like, peace out, have fun, bitches. It's exactly like that. It's not a boo-hoo.
Yeah,
it's
or they're even getting or their souls are like, okay, I'm jumping ship now so I can jump back in and be a child of the new earth and help bring in some of the change that's needed to change. So that's what I was getting to, was like, okay, I got to jump ship now. I almost see it like we're pulling the parachute and we're just jumping off the plane so that they can come back in right away, have a quick turnaround, be born in 2027, 2028, and then be old enough in 2035, 2040 to be really part of the change.
Oh, which is so cool. Yeah. Which is so cool. And we are seeing that in children that are being born in the most recent years, right? So that's so neat.
Yeah.
I know. That's exciting.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It's so fun.
That's not right.
Roller coaster.
I'm like, it's so fun. Death is so fun. No, I'm like, it's so funny for the soul, for the individual that passes. It is great. It is fun. You literally are like, yay. The part that's not fun is the people that are still behind, right? Yeah. So as much as you and I are aware and understand, and anybody, I guess, who has a belief system of heaven or anything like that, it's there's a peace in that, but it's also, you also I would grieve. I will grieve when my parents go. I would be so upset when my parents go, even though I have the knowledge that I'm like, oh my God, they're over there and they're like, woo, but I'm sad because I don't get to be there with them and I don't get to see them. And so I think that's the hardest part. Yeah. Is the people that stay behind.
The only other thing I'd say for 2026 on an individual level as well as collective would be some transformation, just significant internal, external transformation for everybody in 2026, because it is the year of the one, right? Yeah. In numerology, we're moving into a year one, which is fresh start, new beginnings, just creating new ways of living, finally releasing some of those bad habits or thought patterns or behaviors or whatever it is. If, I don't know, maybe things were coming up for you in the last eclipse season, or recently I know there was something in, I think before Christmas, where it was like
another.
Things were like coming to the surface. So whatever's been coming
Yep.
to the surface for you in 2020 or in the fall, like for me, I let go of alcohol. I was like, I'm no longer a drinker. And not that I was a huge drinker. I just want to make that clear. But I realized that I don't align with that anymore. I haven't for a long time. And the only reason I would drink was because I felt like I needed to fit in with people around me. And I am truly and intentionally trying to live more authentically. And that isn't authentically me. So
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
Yeah, where you're just like, forget this. Like, no, absolutely. And I think like, yeah, there's going to be, I think lots of shifts and changes, like, you know, kind of like that reset year, which resetting can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's exciting, but it can also be uncomfortable. And it feels like it's kind of like when in my meditation where it was like, all right, okay, so the thinking's done. And we're doing. And that's what it kind of feels like in 2026. Like it kind of feels like the pace
You've
is
the
gonna
momentum behind you.
Yeah.
You have that energy pushing you forward. And I feel like you're right. The changes can, if you think about them for too long, can make you feel uncomfortable. But I actually think that the changes are going to be easy for you or for anybody if when you start making the steps forward, it really feels like you're unhooking from old behaviors and patterns is going to be a lot easier this year than it ever has been in previous years, because it just feels like this wave of energy is pushing us forward.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
It is
exciting. And again, it's all perspective. So, you know, change and shift can be scary and uncomfortable for some people, for a lot of us, but also exciting. So again, it's this perspective shift. We can look at it any way we want to look at it. And we get to choose how we look at it.
Yeah. I think we should wrap it up there.
Wrap it up, Mandy. This was fun. I love chit-chatting.
Me too. Let's do more of these in 2026.
I know. And like we have some fun episodes, not just the death one. But we've got like, you know, a great guest coming on that talks about telepathy. What? And telekinesis? So excited about that. So and I've seen a bunch that I'm like, I think we should have on, and it'll be exciting.
Yeah.
It will be exciting.
Yeah. And Alli's still open for some New Year readings?
Yeah, year ahead readings. Yep. Because I'll close that down by the end of January, just because it's like we've already eaten into 1 month. But I got 2 options. So one that's a bit more affordable, which is just a digital copy of, you know, every month that I feel into and pull some cards on. And then the other one is more interactive, where we meet. You can ask, you know, questions or focuses for that year. And I go into every month of the energy and all the fun jazz.
And it's good because I've been doing year ahead readings in the past, and you're doing them this year, which is super cool.
Yeah. I'm like, I did the digital one for the, like, because that was not something we kind of really did, and that was really fun. And
it's so pretty.
Thanks. I like pretty stuff. Yeah. So we will wrap this baby up, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Follow Alli on The Luminate Soul on Instagram and YouTube.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.